Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a hot minute. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Brian.
Lots changed in your life since we last sat down here, eh?
No, not much. Not really. Why? Why do you bring it up? It's just another day. Like, I went to work today, breathe the same air.
Jay got hitched. Chris Cabral in the chat. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man, it's been a hot minute. I know last week we tried to do this. I had internet issues. And I did a short little show just on a whim because it was so late at night and I was on my way out of town. So I wanted to get something recorded and up just so we weren't neglecting you good people. But yeah, man, good to be back in the saddle again. We had to remember how to do all this stuff. It was, that's what happens. It's like riding a bike.
Yep. Just fall off and get back on.
I like it. We're going to talk a little ICast tonight. I'm sure there's going to be some shenanigans in the house. We got Thomas Langton from Tightline Anchors in the house. We're going to have him join us as well. He's always entertaining as usual. So I'm sure we'll have some fun conversation. What do we got to catch up on, man? Dale Hollow was great. The event was great. Had a great turnout.
Yeah.
We had the bonus for the big bass. That was great. Congrats again to Robert Knoll for man, he took it home.
Clean
big bass
house
both days. And I think it was just a hair under $6,000, for what did we have? 40 some people signed up. First place went home with $6,000. That's pretty stout. Just saying.
Yeah, he it's kind of like one of those I think once in a lifetime kind of moments. Everything just lined up and he was there with his kid too. Was pretty cool. So
that's always cool to get to share that with your son,
Oh yeah, because this kid's gonna be like, wait, you can win. Oh, I like this. Next thing you know, another 5 years, he's in a kayak beating all our butts.
Yeah. Chris Cabral is asking your most inches on a day. What was your best day in a tournament?
My best day
in a tournament.
Yeah, in a tournament. I would say 89. I'm not like, I did tournament fishing for like 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm just a knucklehead, so maybe I could have done better, but we all know I'm just, basically I just tie, the same stuff on. I'm like, well, I hope this works. It's like, I don't want to waste my time retying stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think mine was like 94, 95 inches, maybe something around there. I want to say that was Madison Chain. I broke 90. I know that, but I want to say it was like in that 94 to 96 range. I don't know, man. I always struggle catching 20-inch fish. And then, this year I've been kind of on a roll. I know I've caught a few. One out of a kayak and a couple out of the boat, and all smallmouth, which is just like, what the frick, like I can't catch a largemouth over 20, but I can, certainly catch smallmouth, and that's just wild to me. But I just got back from Mille Lacs last weekend. That's why I was on the road, and smallmouth. I'm going to say this right now, I put this in our group chat. Mille Lacs, I fished St. Clair 2 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. And then I went and fished Mille Lacs this past weekend because I had booked that trip during one of the fishing shows. Shout out to McCoyd's Inn on Mille Lacs. They had a deal going at one of the fishing shows, and it was buy 2 nights, get 2 nights free. Mm-hmm. So we got a 2-bedroom cabin for 4 nights for $600, which is just stupid, Got to go up with the folks, and the smallmouth there are just freaking unbelievable. Like St. Clair smallmouth had shoulders for sure. And I've caught smallmouth on Table Rock Lake, all areas of the Midwest here. And but those Minnesota freaking smallies, dude, were just fierce. And it was like it almost felt like you had a rock just like tugging, like they were just stout. Like the St. Clair smallies were stout for sure. They had shoulders, but I mean the Mille Lacs smallmouth had shoulders, but they were thick. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And fish were on beds, and the fishing was just absolutely phenomenal. I will make that a yearly trip every year.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of videos. You'd probably like it in the winter too, obviously, because I know that
Well,
place.
I've ice that was the thing. I've fished Mille Lacs a few times in the past, but it was always during ice fishing season, and you're always fishing walleyes. And that's the thing too, right? Like up there, you're either a walleye fisherman or a muskie fisherman. Like everywhere where you'd find smallmouth, there was hardly any boats. And I mean, you could basically fish a whole spot to yourself. And yeah, it was wild. But especially last weekend was opening day for muskie up there. So, you had guys. It was funny. We were coming in the one evening, and the one guy's fishing the front of the boat. This other guy's just laid out in the back, and you could just tell he was exhausted. And I was like, "What? You're catching him on the front, and you're catching him on your phone?" Because he was playing on his phone in the back. And he's like, "Yeah, he's allowed to take a break. We've been at it for 18 hours. They had been out there since sunrise, just fishing skis." And I was just like, "You guys are out of your mind, dude."
Jesus, man.
But yeah, if you love smallmouth and you want to catch smallmouth of a lifetime, head on up there, because I think my big one of the trip on the scale was 5 pounds 6 ounces, something like that.
That's a good fish.
Yeah, stout, dude.
Yeah,
for a smallie. Yeah,
and this is the place to do it. The more north you go, I mean,
yeah.
That's
the water stays well, and that's funny, right? Like, down here, we got water temps in 70 to 80 degrees. Up there, the water temps, the highest I saw was, I did see 70 in the creek, but Main Lake was 62 degrees still.
Oh, wow.
But the air temp was getting in the 80s, so I mean, and that lake's not that deep, but it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Huge lake.
So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to catch up on. I forgot about that. So, yeah, and caught them on all new prototype baits.
Even more important.
Just saying, boys and girls, ICast, be ready. Do bro fishing. Whole new lineup of baits. Can't spill all the beans, but I think you guys will be happy. So, but yeah,
Brian's vagueness. It's like,
I gotta be, man. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag. But
no, of course not.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. So, well, let's get Mr. Langton in the house. See, I always say Langston, and it's Langton. Thomas Langton. Welcome to the show again, my friend.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody
Good,
doing?
man. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. You look like you're in a little bit better shape than the last time we saw you after Dale Hollow.
Oh, he's still in the same shape.
Jay, don't make me come over there. Listen. I'm going to tell you, that was a tough one. And you know what? When you ride motocross bikes and you do all this, stunting when you're a kid and you don't even think about it. It's hard to shake that shit off, man. It's hard. It's
because you're like ancient now. So,
well, this is the thing,
dude.
Right?
I get up before you in the morning. I go to bed after you go to bed, and I get up earlier than you do.
That's because you have
And I
sleep
have
apnea. It's not a. It's a.
Oh, okay.
He's like, that's
Fair.
my strength.
He's like, okay, fair.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to dodge a bullet, right?
Well, this is interesting, man, and we've never talked about this, and I wanted to bring this up because it was funny when we were down there.
Here we go.
When we were down there, you brought it up. You're like, yeah, I've been on TV before, or I've been on Discovery Channel, and I was like, get the hell out of here. And I knew you had built motorcycles and hot rods and stuff back in the day, but I didn't realize how big you were into that, man.
All the way. That has been my whole life. It's been just building stuff, man.
That's crazy.
I had some excellent opportunities.
Yeah.
They were just weird circumstantial events, right? But this is the greatest tool you'll ever own, right here.
This?
It's not what we're looking into right now. Bingo. And Jay, where's yours?
I got a back scratcher.
It's extendable.
Matter of
Nice.
fact, I'm just gonna take
you know,
care
Jay,
of something while we're all talking here. That's the stuff.
Yeah, but Jay's on the vanilla. Jay's on the vanilla wall, so I know he's not. He's still on the vanilla wall.
I mean, I've got a real tool.
Come on,
I mean, it's
you can. No, but you're on the vanilla wall. You now own the house, of course, and you're married. You can decorate the back there, dude. Like
this is a green screen. I wanted it plain.
So
you like that.
Real quick.
This is a frat house on a ranch.
Gentlemen, real quick. I just want to run through the comments because Chris Cabral asked, what was your most inches on a day? And he said opening day, Lake Hodges, his friend did 114 inches last week. That's just stupid.
Good deal.
Is that ruler, bro?
Awesome.
Randy Newton.
Is
Good
that
evening,
legitimized?
gents. What's
up,
up, buddy?
Tournament?
Yeah, 114.
Well,
I don't.
Facebook user says the anticipation of the Spro Chad Shad 180 reveal at ICast is starting to kill him at this time of year.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Well,
Chad Shad 180, we will add that to the list of booths to go by and get some footage of for you, man. Live from ICast when we're down there. John Rapp says, I gotta know.
Absolutely.
I gotta know how them ribs doing.
John Rapp, I'm gonna be honest with you. If your wife didn't provide me with that temporary care, man, I don't think I could have drove home. And that's the honest. When I see Beth, it's just going to be a whole other thing. Like I couldn't have made the trip home. I got to Atlanta. I'm like, I'm just, you know, the way they drive in Atlanta, and I'm like 2 hours south of Atlanta. I'm just like, F it. I'm going to die here because I can't move. I'm locked in, right? It's like Chuck Yeager re-entering the atmosphere. My feet are burning. My calves are burning. I don't even know about this thing. It was built by the lowest bidders, and I don't even know what's going to happen. That was me coming into Atlanta, but all I thought about was Beth and John. Just supplied me with some counseling that got me that far, and I pushed through.
She said you're welcome.
Home.
She said you're welcome.
Thank you. Damn.
Chris,
you don't even know what that
is. Cabral's asking, what BMX did you ride? It was motocross, right? Not BMX.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was motocross. We did cross country enduro. So we were on Suzuki's, and we were sponsored by Suzuki in the town I lived in. They had a big dealership, and then we rode. At that point I was 15 years old, and I run an RM 125, and then I graduated to a 350 after that, and I think that's where that just came apart. Like, yeah, we
all of a sudden
that's a
crashing
long
hurt more.
story.
Well,
Well, when you get in when you get in the woods and you're running through water and swamp water, and you just get it's not about you navigating the course. It's about you controlling the beast and pushing it through the course and surviving. And that's, it was a life lesson. Like, I'd meet my dad halfway through and he'd be at a checkpoint and he'd just turn away and walk away. He knew it was just that this is spectacular. Like, you even made it. Look at you, right? You couldn't see the bike. You couldn't see me. It's pouring rain. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just disgusting. Like, just
Sounds like a great time.
oh, it was awesome. But you get off the bike back in the pits. Like, when you cross, you finish. You idle down through the pit.
Yeah.
You go through the bike wash, and then you come down, and you just get off it, and you almost ghost it. Like, your dad's standing there, and you just ghost it into his hands, and you don't even pull in the clutch. He grabs it, right? Like, when he's walking up, he grabs the clutch because he knows you're spent. I saw you at the halfway point, and that was 4 laps, right?
Jesus.
Like, figure it. You're 12, 13, 14 years old driving a RM 125. That's a lot to handle in the woods.
Yeah.
They didn't have, there wasn't the 4-stroke option now in the elevated stance of enduro. Like, oh my God, we'd run a river for like half a mile, right? Like, how do you do that in ankle to waist deep water?
Right.
I've done a few.
Wild.
Has nothing to do with fishing, but I might have disturbed a lot of fishing bed, right? So,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Looking at ICast coming up, we're month away basically. I posted a question. Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Jay, can you give us a day count? July 11th, please. Just I'm not going to take over the whole podcast.
He's going to have to take his shoes off. He's going to have to take his shoes off. He's going to count all his fingers and his toes.
He should know.
I forgot how to count. What's that?
I bet you're from Knoxville.
Your number. Oh, that's just wrong.
Wow.
I don't know. It's like 31 days.
You're from Chicago, but you're from Illinois, but now you're transplanted. So, what's our day count? Our day count
it's 31.
Be what, 32-ish?
31. 31.
Oh, yeah, 32. I'm still on point.
It's 31,
Yeah.
not 32.
Well, it's a
24
Canadian
hours
32.
out?
It's a Canadian.
No,
32.
Yeah. It's Canadian time.
PST, I'm out 24 hours. Come on, I'll still be there. I might be a day late and $1 short, but I'll be there.
You're still out.
And the good news is I'll be there 2-3 days before either one of you monkeys are going to get there.
I don't know about that. But anyways,
okay, so what's the deal? What's the deal? What are we doing?
So first, I posed this question last week on the short little podcast about, over the past 5 to 7 years, you've seen this big push and this big awakening of kayak fishing at ICast, and this year you have a lot of the boat manufacturers and things like that not showing up. Thoughts on that, and what's your guys' take? And will it hurt kayak fishing with not as much representation being there? I'll let Jay go first. Jay's like,
I knew I was just going to ask. Is Jay going to go first? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it always helps if there's representation from every company that's in the industry, but it's been a tough few years, and depending on how everybody was impacted, sometimes you just can't make those trips, and while I understand it, I got no skin in that game, right? But I think I'd like to see kayak companies out there and everything, even if they don't have anything new to bring. I mean, what if you just make a couple minor adjustments, even like to colors, whatever, but just bring your, your flagships and things like that. So then you're still, you're still, in the limelight, I guess, spotlight, let's say, like you're still in the spotlight, people are still seeing it. Kayaking still has a long way to go. And, it needs exposure over and over and over and over. But that being said, as far as kayak companies go, there's not a lot of newer companies that are out there either.
Sure.
I think this would be beneficial. Like if there was a newer company that was out there, like now would be the time to show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you don't have any competition on that floor.
Right.
And again, this is a trade show, so this isn't like a big public spectacle, but this is where you want to put that stuff out there to get investors and make relationships and things of that nature.
And to clarify, not all of them haven't pulled out. Bonafide Native will be there.
Yeah.
And Johnson Outdoors has a big booth, which I would assume there will be some Old Town kayaks in there. And then Bote, BOTE, the inflatable company, will be there. That's basically it. I mean, you got no Hobie, no New Canoe, no Jackson, no Crescent. So there's a few of the bigger players that just aren't showing up. And having a conversation with somebody in that aspect, they felt like you're saying, like they had nothing new that they were coming out with. It's a huge expense. ICast, there's always a lot of buzz. Is all the content that they're producing, they're getting drowned out in everybody else's content and things like that. But
it's a tough. I mean, it's not our companies, right? Like again, everybody knows this is not a knock to any of these guys. Like I get it. You have to financially be stable enough to do it, and then it has to be the right choice for you. And I understand that going because you don't have anything new. I don't see why you still couldn't pull something out like where it's not so bad. But then again, I'm not paying that bill. Yeah. But I mean, but all those companies though that aren't going have a big enough following where they've already got,
Sure. Yep.
They've already got the consumers that are, connect to them, and more that are coming in every time because we sell that stuff. Everybody as a kayaker that goes into the forums and answers all those questions to the newbies. We're doing that. I mean, so they don't even we're their marketing team and we don't even get paid for it.
Sure.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying is like they're still selling boats. It doesn't matter, to them on that level. But I mean, again, I ain't paying that bill, so it's not really. It's hard to armchair this.
Sure.
And
I'm just it's a good discussion, and that's why I bring it up. No,
it is.
Chris Cabral is saying they should allow custom color choices. There are a few companies that do allow you to do that. I believe Jackson's still doing it. New Canoe just opened that back up, and who else? Is that it?
Yeah,
I think Jackson does because of the. I think Jackson does it because of the whitewater division, and they have all that product there.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it too, right? Like it all depends on what
affiliation with Red Bull and making custom colors for their sponsored athletes, and on their whitewater side. So I think they have that ability.
But well, a lot of them kicked it down because plastic wasn't available.
Well, yeah, it was that plus the demand. Well, that and during COVID, the demand was so high, and that's why New Canoe put a kibosh on that, because sometimes when you're running a custom color, they sometimes have to run it 2 or 3 times because that color blend may melt at a slightly different temperature or not mix as well.
Yep.
Things like that may need a longer run time. So that first time they run it, it may not come out right, and that's due to the material itself. Whereas, you know, before, during COVID, you were just trying to pump out as many boats as you could because the market was so hot. Now that it's slowed down a little bit, now they have that open time there.
Yeah.
So,
but you're right. Jackson's got all that stuff. They got their roto molding and all that.
yeah.
It's all in house.
Chris is saying that Jackson is pushing it out in California. Makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, dude, they're out here. Like, I mean, obviously it's Tennessee, but I mean, I see, you know, all the whitewater boats, they're almost always a Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
So this is interesting too, right? Because Thomas is co-owner of Tightline Anchor, right? And you guys had a booth at ICast last year. This year, you guys aren't doing a booth, but you'll be there walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies because you're, you know, just a badass. So,
well, stunting as well. Like, we don't know.
Stunting. Yes, stunting. So what's your take, man? Like, what's your thoughts on all that? Like, kind of the foot off the gas pedal a little bit going into ICast 23.
To be honest with you, I think that companies spend a lot of money to go there. And in the past, since 2016, when the first time we were there, we've seen some pretty elaborate displays, and it costs money to go there. It's an enormous cost. And as a business person, you have to look at what's my ROI. And they do multiple shows nationwide, like a company like Jackson. They do stuff every weekend somewhere, and it's not available to everybody because you're not in the know, right? Because they're, case in point, Jackson. Let's just take them. They're in the whitewater business, right? So they do something everywhere. Their budget is just not. You just can't do it. However, I think if you don't have a booth, like even a 10 by 10, and you're not there and not present, you're going to miss out what the new smaller companies bring to the table. And I think there's going to be a lot of that here this year. Mm-hmm. You know, people have time to think about accessories, you know, and there are going to be some companies that launch some stuff at ICast. And if they're not there, or they don't have their company reps there walking and talking, it's going to be difficult for you to get on the curve. Like, hey, where did you just see that? And, you know, the cell phone, the Devil Stone, you can take a picture of it, but where are you standing right now? Well, I'm in, you know, like Dubro fishing booth. Like, what is that? You're not here, right? Like, that's, if you're not there,
Vibe Kayaks will be there.
If you're not there, you don't know. And trade shows are sadly that way. You just cannot. Yeah. If you're not there, you're not in the know, and you don't see what's current or what's new. And sometimes lesser companies, accessory companies, drop bombs. And if you're not,
and this is the show to be at, right? For all,
and at ICast, I think the new product showcase is and I'm just going to say it. It has its own motivation, right? So you can't get in there and make a big scene, right? Because they've got some big companies that are in there pushing their products in. And I get that, but it's the stuff you don't see that's launched in the aisles under discussion. And I think that's a big booth to booth. That's you need to be there.
Yeah,
to walk around, talk around is always the best way. To not go is a sin.
Well, and too, right, a spin off of that is, you know, back in the day, pretty much every new product was released at ICast. Now you've kind of seen this switch where a few companies are releasing things at Bassmaster Classic or MLF Redcrest, you know, things like that. So they're launching them earlier in the year versus waiting till ICast. So now you have less people showing up or less appeal Because I mean, from being at the Classic this year, there was quite a few buyers walking around talking to companies, shops, bait and tackle shops, even big box stores had their buying reps there, walking around looking at new products, things like that. Now, back to what Thomas said, you're spending a lot of money to go to ICast, whereas Bassmaster Classic's a fraction of that price. So why not go there, save the coin? You could still have a big booth, but it's going to cost you a fraction of the price. And you can launch your products there and get ahead of everybody else.
Well, and not only that, like you can do more than one show, right? All over the country.
Sure.
So I mean, and like again, it comes down to money. What makes more sense from a business standpoint versus, going to like the show, which ICast is every year. But I also think, additionally, from what I was saying, marketing has taken a pretty big turn now, and you don't necessarily need to be present in some instances. I mean, again,
you can do something like this, a live stream, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe they're looking at like from like businesses when they have meetings. Now you don't have to send somebody somewhere and have them fly and get a hotel. It's like now you can just hop on the computer. Well, now you can launch stuff. You've been a part of that with New Canoe. I mean, it's like that's a great way to get information out, and it's your show. You don't have to share it with anybody, and I understand that as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I really think this is all just about money. It's and that's the thing too, right? So even for us, it's like let's switch to the fishing shows. How the original fishing shows were like, where was that? And then those tables started getting more and more expensive. The increments were jumping year to year like at astronomical rates, and everybody started bailing and going to other shows.
It's interesting, right? Because I know. Go ahead, Thomas.
Here's the deal. The market has become so defined, like it's gone from the paddle sports industry, and specifically what you guys are focusing and obviously Tightline Anchors focusing on is the fishing segment, right? It's become so defined and so competitive that now it's all based on ROI. What are we doing going to ICast? You know what I mean? I don't know anybody that sets up at ICast that isn't in it for 10 grand. I have no idea how they're even getting there and doing that.
Yeah.
Think about that. What's my ROI for 10 grand? And project that out over there. And I'm not, that's just a very, very micro company, Tightline Anchor. But how do you get that back over the next 12 months?
Right.
Like,
I would say 10
and
grand minimum.
That's no flash. We're not jumping houses on motocross bikes and stunting and all that crap, which we will do this year because I think it'll pay. But anyway, we'll sell tickets this year at the Dubrow House. Anyway, we'll talk about that. But anyway, I'm having a ramp built for that house in Kissimmee. It's a street match. Going to bring
that's the Paddle and Fin house. I'm keeping you away from the Dubrow.
He started a Patreon.
No, the Paddle and Fin house. But I have the address in Kissimmee. So anyway, we're having a ramp built right now. It's portable, but it's on a flatbed 53-foot trailer. So you know what's going to happen there.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, I just think it costs a lot to go there on a, getting back to being a serious discussion. I think it costs a lot to go there, and it's just tough. It's tough. And I if I could interject, and no disrespect to ICast because it's a great venue and you meet the world there because everybody comes from all around the world to go there. But it's like if you look at the big three automakers, and Brian, you and I have talked about that a little bit. They're hyper launching their vehicles. They'll launch a new Ford pickup truck, for instance, in the last quarter of this year, and it's a 2024. Well, why is the industry not following that? I think the biggest show, and I could be wrong, I was wrong once in 76 and the other time in 82, and then half wrong with Greg G, my business partner, in 98. But that's the only times. But anyway, I think that the big show has to be in December or November, and that's the launch.
That's interesting you say that, because Chris Cabral said move ICast to January, and I don't think January is the right time.
Well,
no, January.
What about
not to be? I think the best show ever would be in November 15th, and you just hold everybody back like racehorses, and just let them go, and they go into that show, and it's there. It starts right there.
I mean,
if ICast would move back to November 15th,
kind of hurt demo stuff if you go that far back.
No.
I don't know. I kind of agree with them in some respects.
Listen, Jay, you have a different perspective because you are in the industry as a personality, a media personality, and obviously a consumer of products and a user of those products, but you're not a manufacturer.
Yeah.
And I would want to be on November 15th, that weekend. I'd like to be in Knoxville at the convention center and then knock it out. And then from November 15th till January 1st, it's on. And you have to come and see it there or you can't get it at all. And that's just my take on it, but I could be wrong. It'd be rare if I was, but anyway, no big deal.
I'm trying to think, because like a lot of your archery trade shows happen in January, beginning of February, right? And you're basically getting stuff out there for the following season, right? Like a lot of hunting seasons are wrapping up in January.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I would push it, and Brian, to your point, and being dead serious, I would push the archery shows should be in August.
No. So the reason why they don't do that, if you're releasing products in August, that's right when hunting seasons are getting ready to kick off. So now your bow shops are doing this mad scramble throughout the actual busy season, right, to get new products and get those bumped up. Whereas,
it changes the dynamic between the manufacturer and the seller, the dealer. You let them in. This is, technology. You can show them on a video what you're doing. This is our new product line, right? This is it. This is what we have this season, and pre-order then. When you go to a show, the customer is going to come in and see that. If it's an open show and see it, it's already available, in Smithtown, USA, where he lives, right? Or she lives. They've already pre-ordered it. And I think that's the dynamic that needs to change in the industry. And I could be way wrong, man. I could be way wrong. And I'm not. I mean, hey, I don't.
If
you need to jump this season, ready, you need to be there.
If product is ready to move and be stocked on store shelves in August, I can see that happening. However, you've seen this push, right? And ATA is like the ICast of the archery business. And we're just trying to compare industries here to kind of give, a little context, right? Because what's happening in the archery industry is what's happening in the fishing industry right now. And it's been going on, and it's really killed the ATA show, right? You've had Matthews and Hoyt competing to release their new model bows before ATA, which is like the ICast of the archery industry, right? So they're releasing earlier and earlier, which means now they're releasing in the middle of the hunting season, and that stuff isn't ready to ship. So now all the bows that your shops brought in for the season are going to sit on the shelves because, well, I just saw Matthews or I just saw Hoyt released a bow in November, the middle of the freaking rut. And why do I want to buy this bow on your shelf now when I know this new bow is coming out in 3 months?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what it's doing is it's screwing the
sooner as a pre-dealer release because that's a big bow shop.
Yeah. So now it's screwing all the mom and pop
That's
shops,
fair.
right? And that's the same thing that's going to happen. You know, I don't think anybody released kayak wise at the Bassmaster Classic. They usually release at ICast. They're usually pretty good about that. But there was a couple other companies that released some stuff right at Classic, which is springtime, which your premium buying season is going into spring, you know, end of winter, beginning of spring, because everybody's getting ready to get back out on the water. So again, all your dealers have made these orders that they've gotten, and now you're going to release something new, and the product that was 6 months old is now obsolete because you've released this stuff in the middle of prime time. You know what I mean? So all the manufacturers are doing is screwing their dealers, which with no dealers at the end of the day, you know, you could have direct to consumer sales, but that only goes so much, because I think all three of us can admit, if you can go look, feel, touch, observe all that stuff in a shop, you're more privy to buy it than some picture you see on the website.
Yeah, except if it's Matthews. No, I'm just kidding. You gotta use that stuff. You know, like you said, it's all perception.
Or simply be brand changed and upsold, right? Like you're using one thing, and then you see a new product. Well, I'm going to buy this bow this year and be upsold and change brands. And it's all good. It's all good. That's where the dealer needs to be able to sell the product. And I get that, but I disagree on the launch timeline. And I don't know where that is, but,
I mean, if you're launching in the middle who knows, if you're launching in the middle of prime buying season, consumer buying season, that I think really just screws everybody.
Yeah, Brian,
I don't see how it doesn't.
I think if you look at the automotive industry, they've got the biggest stake in the game, and that's why they launch in Q4 their new models for the Q1.
Well, they're launching in Q4 so they can boost their sales, that and make it look like that year they actually made something versus losing. That's why they're doing it in Q4, my opinion. But
that's all like a predetermined cycle.
Fair enough.
Right? That's a predetermined cycle that happens all the time, and it thank you for that. But like Brian makes a good point, because again, Thomas, you're thinking of it from a business owner perspective, and then you've got the shops, and then you've got the consumer. So Brian's right. Like, where if you decide to do that in the middle of a specific part of the season, like again, if it's in the springtime, brand new stuff is coming out. I mean, I know guys that spend like hundreds of dollars. I mean, Brian does too. Get him out of here. No, get him out of here. I love this. Get the out. Thank you.
Can I be put back on the screen? That's happened over there on the vanilla.
I don't know. Chris Cabral's right. Old Town came out with a new color at the Classic. Sorry, continue, Jay.
No, I mean, but either way, it's like there's a lot of different levels of this, and it's I don't think the auto industry is like a good way to compare it. I do think archery and fishing is the same thing. If you're releasing stuff in the middle of hunting season, we're also talking about two of the, like you brought up Hoyt and Matthews. Dude, we both know how huge they are, and we both have owned Matthews, and I currently own Matthews. I mean, they could do whatever the hell they want, in my opinion, because I'll still buy it. But the shop's going to get hurt, because now I'm going to hold out for that new bow to go check it out. Even though but I'm also thinking about the deal that's, probably going to be there. But either way, these shops got inventory and they got to move it. So it's kind of unfair to them. And again, I mean, we can go deeper into a rabbit hole about how the kayak companies are changing their format, and it's going to hurt some of the stores and all that and blah, blah, blah. And then releasing stuff's all going to play a part in that. But getting back to, ICast and everything, it's Everything is relative. It's financially driven, man. All this is financially driven.
And Chris Cabral is asking the same question, which kind of leads to what you were just saying. Do I wait for the 24 Tacoma or do I buy the 23 cheaper? Yeah. Well, you could do the 23 cheaper, but at the end of the day, it's hurting the pocketbook of the dealer shop, whatever. I mean, car dealers, screw them. They're a bunch of freaking used car salesmen, right? But kayak shops.
Somebody's got to sell the cars.
Kayak shops, big tackle shops.
Why'd you have to say that? Why'd you have to muddy the waters?
I know.
I mean, good.
Sorry to all you. Sorry to all you car salesmen out there, but
right,
a majority. There are some good ones out there, right? There are some good ones, but
that was bad. That's a bad segue, right?
But now it's hurting those dealers, right? And they're not getting that margin that they could have got, and now they're having to discount this stuff to move it out the shop. So that's money lost, right? They got a huge investment to bring that stuff in the shop, and now they're not making that ROI. Going back to what you were talking about, the ROI, which they're losing the money that they spent to go to that show to see that stuff, and so on and so forth. So it's a vicious circle, right? And I just think it's an interesting conversation, and I think a lot of consumers don't think about that kind of stuff, right? And then you kind of open their eyes with it, and I think that's the thing too, right? Like in the archery world, you're not seeing enough people come forward with that it's hurting the show, the ATA show, to the point where like the last day of the show, there was nobody there. There was people packed up and gone before the show even ended. Right.
Really?
And my fear is, right, like I love bow hunting and stuff, but my love is obviously with fishing, right? And I would hate to see ICast turn into that, right? Because you're kind of seeing that same pattern going on right now that you were seeing in the archery industry. Like ATA and ICast were the biggest thing since sliced bread, right? That's where you would go, and as a manufacturer, right? As a company like you, Thomas, and you were making huge deals and things like that. And now you're not seeing as much of that. It's just like, going window shopping, putting it on the maybe list, and then, maybe following up in October before buying season starts, or as buying season starts,
Sure.
So I don't know, my 2 cents. I mean, I'm super stoked to be at ICast again. This will be year 3 or 4 in a row, I think.
Well, you know why you want to be at ICast. You know why you want to be there, Brian.
Obviously, to see what did you call him earlier? The smooth baby ginger or something?
Yeah.
Baby smooth ginger?
Yeah.
No, you want to be
baby ginger.
You want to be at the house of Kissimmee and have your breakfast, right?
That is true. I will say that, man. And did we ever talk about breakfast at the Bassmaster Classic?
We did.
Dude.
And I think we shared it with Switch, and he got really perturbed because he was across town 20 minutes away, and he couldn't eat what you sent him in the photo with the apple pie and all that stuff. And he showed up, and of course he showed up the event, walking around. He said, what's your house address? And it's all over.
What'd you cook that
Dude,
morning?
I cooked for 2 or 3.
It was like eggs, ham, hash browns. Was it a bagel or toast? English muffin.
It was toast.
And then apple pie, right?
Apple pie.
Yeah. Dude, most phenomenal breakfast I've ever eaten in my life.
Way to get that insulin.
I don't know if we can do this, but well, no. Hey, listen, Killer went to the show and he killed it, right? So, and the whole thing was you have to needle up on Black Rifle coffee, right? Like just like.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah. We had to buy some Black Rifle. Oh yeah. Yeah, Thomas doesn't drink coffee.
Like,
he had a cup and he was jazzed.
I drink Chinese tea, and I drank that stuff, and it's just like that's like used motor oil. That just got my heart was just like ka-choom, ka-choom, ka-choom. I could hear my heart in my ears, standing in the kitchen doing the dishes from the breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that stuff is like. Does this come from South America? Like, what the hell? Of course, coffee beans, they all come from somewhere. But what are they dipping in them in before they send the beans to Black Rifle? I'd love to talk to those guys from Black Rifle because that's just not even right. That's just like, oh man. And I drink Chinese tea by the gallon, but I love it. Like oolong, I love it.
Oh,
and
man.
I think that gives me a head start. Black Rifle coffee, whole other thing. If you're coming to ICast, got to stop by Dubro's booth. I want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Something's not right there.
Well, and speaking of which,
going back to the house, where's our house, Kissimmee, Brian?
Hold on. Just calm down. We'll get to your stunting in a minute. Speaking of which,
breakfast. I'm trying to do a breakfast plug.
Oh, okay. Leo gets it. Go ahead with your breakfast. Go ahead.
I think $15 a plate. We're obviously going to do a meat of the day. We'll post a menu online, and you have to order before the day before, because it's not like going to Golden Corral. This is going to be produced for you. You know,
it's like this is going to be sourced from local farms.
And come to the house, and it'll be out there. I'll be there looking at you, and you'll eat it. It's going to be awesome.
We're turning the Paddle and Fin Airbnb into a restaurant, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Right. $15. I think it's well worth it. And you get a slice of apple pie, and the bar's open. So in the morning, you can do coffee, Chinese tea, coffee, Black Rifle coffee, or a mixed drink, and you're going to get eggs, a meat, a bread, and something special, and apple pie. And fruit. There'll be a whole fruit bar there too.
It's a good thing I still have time to put insurance on the Airbnb.
It's going to be awesome. G's apparently not going to be there because he burns the house down with bacon. He ODs on the bacon, dude. Like, that guy is crazy.
Well, that's good.
He'll cook 8 pounds of bacon at once and just like nasty.
That's good.
You could ask Derek, but he slept through the whole thing, so he didn't even know that he was on death's door in the Airbnb. He woke up and said, "It smells like bacon in here." Like, dude, we nearly lost the whole friggin' house. Right? Go get a shower. We're leaving in like 7 minutes.
Well, and while you're eating your breakfast, you could go through and watch all the footage that Paddle and Fin's going to get. We're going to be set up in the Dubro booth doing some interviews. We'll have some guys walking around doing some videos, posting them up. So watch the socials, watch the YouTube, watch the Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, because, like Facebook user said before, they're super excited to see that new Spro Shad 180. Well, we walk over to the Spro booth and, get a little footage of that, talk to some folks there. And you could see it live right on Paddle and Fin's stuff. Plus, there's always personality, some big names in fishing walking around the place. So we'll grab them, throw them in the hot seat, and record a little short podcast with them, and let them go back on the way. Obviously, you'll be around. We'll record something with you. Actually, we'll get the menu. We'll get
record something with me. You'll record it. Anything after the sun sets?
No. So we'll record a segment every day for ICast, the breakfast menu by Thomas Langton, and that'll be the special.
No, it's going to be posted online. If you're in town, you want to sign up for it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because I got to go get it's no joke. I'm going to cook to order. When you come in there, it's going to be on the plate, right?
I mean, I would hope it's on the plate, not on the floor. I mean, but I have seen.
Well, that's just if you walk around. You never know. You get my way.
Or on the front steps. Or it ends up on the front steps.
Oh, don't say that. Or in the parking lot. I'm going to have to use the hose to wash it over to the gutter. Dale Hollow. Sorry about that. I cleaned
Missile
up,
baits. Missile will launch their bait. Yeah, we'll get a look at that for sure. But let's wrap it up, man.
I'm excited to get there and see everybody.
Same here. From the Paddle and Fin crew, there will be myself, John Rapp, Randy Newton, Garrett Johnson, and good old Jimmy Skinner. So, I mean, Thomas at this point is part of the Paddle and Fin crew, but
it's going to be awesome. I'll be there.
I look forward to it.
It's going to be super.
Final thoughts from final thoughts from Mr. Langton.
Can't wait to get there. Love everything. Hope everybody's safe, super safe on the water through this midpoint in the summer, and enjoy yourselves.
Like it,
and,
Mr. Randall.
That's it.
Go ahead. That's it.
No, that's it. Just be safe and enjoy your time off on the water, and promote the sport. 100%.
Love it, Mr. Randall.
What Thomas said.
There's such
what the hell with the vanilla wall? Why do I have to do all his? I have to do
green
everything
screen
for him.
I'll update the green screen like eventually.
Come on, you want me to do your closure? It's going to cost you a little bit.
Yeah,
2% on the side.
Up here from.
All right. Jesus Christ! This guy drives a Titan. Now he thinks he doesn't even need to talk on the podcast.
It's a Tundra, bro.
It's a Tundra.
And he has a big rack. Is the rack in there? Is it installed?
Yeah. We put it in at Dale Hollow. You were standing there.
Well, and then I took it off and put a tonneau cover.
Is it fully installed? Because he said was going to put stuff on top.
Yes, it's fully installed.
Yes, it's ready to roll.
Well, that's why he won't talk anymore. He thinks he's a superstar. Anyway, no big deal. I want to
think anything.
Hey, that's it.
I know it.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Well, boys and girls,
Thursday, have a little highlight of what's to come at ICast.
Amen to that. We appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Chris Cabral, thanks for all the comments tonight, man. Appreciate you, brother. Be safe out there in California. We are here every Thursday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Great to be back in the saddle again with all the travel and stuff we've had going on, man. It's finally nice to sit down, have a conversation, chat with you folks tuning in live and all that good stuff. So look forward to ICast as well, seeing all the new products, man. It's always exciting seeing all the new stuff. Getting to sit down, talk to some familiar faces, meet new ones, and all that good stuff, man. So really, really looking forward to it, and appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you, everybody listening on the podcast platforms. As always, boys and girls, Tightline, smooth paddle. Peace.
Thanks, Beth.